What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns ranking the heist vehicles. That's right, the vehicles that came with last week's much anticipated heist DLC for Grand Theft Auto Online. That was, well, 18 months or 500 plus days in the waiting, and I would say that so far I have really thoroughly enjoyed playing Heist with my friends, my crewmates, and of course with you, my subscribers and viewers. So there were a lot of vehicles included with the Heist update, but we will not be including these vehicles: the Mule, the Boxville, the Prison Bus, the 5-seater Vilium, the Casco, or the Electra. So those vehicles are off my ranking list for whatever rhyme or reason. I've compiled it down to a top 10. Of course, there are two ties. But anyways, starting off at number 10 on my list, the Gang Burrito, which came in at $65,000. It unlocked during one of the setup missions for the Pacific Standard heists, and it has a lot of customization features. However, one thing that I pointed out on Sunday was the fact that the Gang Burrito did not allow you to put your emblem for your crew on the right and left sides of the van, just on the hood. And I kind of had issue with that. And obviously, it's not as fast as a sports or a supercar, and it can't bounce around the hills like an off-road vehicle because, yes, it's a van. So the Gang Burrito is a really cool van, not a bad price, $65,000, and that's just for the base model without any customization, which jacks the price up a little bit higher. That is why the Gang Burrito is at number 10 on my list. Number 9, the Guardian, this big industrial truck for $375,000. I had a chance last week to test out Blood Tox's version, and it was a lot more fun than I realized it was going to be. We drove it around, it handled well, it was pretty fast for a big truck, it bounced around the hills great, but it lacked any real customization except for paint jobs and changing the color of the pipes. So yeah, I really think the Guardian could have had more customization features, and I think that the $375,000 price tag was probably a little bit higher than it should have been. Moving on to number 8, the Dink Enduro dirt bike, listed for just under $50,000. In my opinion, it is considered to be now the best dirt bike in Grand Theft Auto Online. However, with the exception of the exhausts, there is no real customization features for the Enduro, and it's kind of pricey for a dirt bike. You look at the Sanchez, it's much cheaper. In fact, you could just go steal it up in Blaine County and put tracker and insurance on the Sanchez. And despite the fact that $48,000 is a lot of money for the Dink Enduro dirt bike, despite hardly any customization, like I mentioned already, it's a very good dirt bike. It's the best dirt bike in Grand Theft Auto Online. Delinquent and I tested it out for a little bit, and we both came to the same conclusion. And it's still a better deal in comparison to, say, another new bike, the Electro, which came in at 700 G's. Ouch! Which is a big reason why the Electro and the Casco are not on this list. Moving on to number 7, the Dinghy Boat. I love this boat. I've mentioned it once or twice. It has a real cool Navy SEAL look. Listed for only $125,000. It's a great 4-seater boat if you want to go bounce around the waves, the oceans, or the Alamo Sea. It's a very good price tag in my opinion. The only downside about owning a boat, whether it's the dinghy, the speeder, or another vessel, is the simple fact that other than just riding around and catching the waves, there's not much else to do in free mode when it comes to the waters. There are no sharks to hunt or be hunted by. There's no wildlife to go check out. And of course, there are no, well, special crate drops in the oceans, like, for example, treasure chests to go and fetch. Perhaps one day Rockstar will come out with a really sweet ocean DLC that gives us more things to do in the ocean. But for now, it's best just to go and steal a random boat that spawns in various docks throughout the map. Moving on to number 6, the Karen Technical, listed at $950,000. It unlocks upon completion of the Series A funding heist finale, and it's basically the Karen Rebel pickup truck with a gun in the bed. And it's a Pegasus vehicle, which means you cannot upgrade it. You cannot, give it the color you want to give it. They always come in white, as far as I can tell. And it lacks any bulletproof tires or armor, so it's very easy to destroy. But despite the fact that the Technical is a lot of fun to ride around in with your friends, either driving or shooting the big stupid gun in the back up against NPCs like cops, for example. Yeah, it's fun, but I don't think it would last very long against other players that are a little bit smarter than the standard LSPD or sheriff's deputies, because all you really have to do to take out the Karen Technical is with an RPG, the minigun, sticky bombs, or another Pegasus vehicle that is much superior, like the Buzzard, the Tank, the Annihilator, and a few others that came with Heists that are on the list. Moving on to number 5, we have a tie between the Kurumas, the Sports, and the Armored versions, which unlock upon completion of the Fleeka Job Heists. The Sports version is $95,000 and the Armored version is $525,000. The Sports is a really good 4-door sports car, but stat-wise, there are better sports cars already in the game, like the Sultan, and the Armored version, upon testing it, really isn't as armored as it appears. For example, we threw one sticky bomb at the Kuruma Armored that I purchased for a video, and it didn't last very long. Number 4 on our list is the Valkyrie, the huge attack helicopter gunship, listed for $2.85 million. Kind of pricey, admittedly. It unlocks upon completion of the Humane Labs raid. It comes with several weapons, 2 miniguns on the side, and of course an explosive 50 caliber cannon on the front for the co-pilot. It's armored, it can take some damage. It's a lot of fun when you have friends and crewmates to ride around in. However, it's not as much fun by yourself unless you just love flying helicopters, and if that's the case, there's always a Frogger or a Maverick or a Buzzard spawning at various helipads and airports for you to go pick up. The pilot cannot use any of the weapons when you're flying the Valkyrie. It cannot even use the front cannon. I don't expect it to use the side cannons, but it would have been cool if Rockstar allowed the pilot the ability to fire that front explosive cannon. It would have made the Valkyrie a lot more fun to use by yourself. Moving on to number 3 on our list, the Mammoth Hydra, listed for $3 million, and it unlocks upon completion of the Humane Labs setup mission EMP, the one where you get to go on the aircraft carrier and get into a dogfight with lasers. It's a fun jet. It's a Vito, a jump jet, and it has some pretty sweet weapons, rockets, and of course explosive ammo. And we finally have a fighter jet that we can buy and call up as a Pegasus vehicle. However, in my opinion, the Laser is still a superior fighter jet, and to be honest, I think $3 million is kinda sorta pricey for this British tart, but she's still a lot of fun though, so I don't have any regrets about buying her, especially since we've been wanting the Hydra for a very, very long time. Number 2 on the list, the Savage, the Russian attack helicopter based off the Hind variant, listed just under $2 million. This is probably my favorite new aircraft in Heists. It comes with 4, that's right, count them, 4 rocket pods, so you can fire rockets over and over again without any cooldown, as well as explosive ammo. It can seat up to 4 people. It has retractable wheels, and the passengers on the back passengers can also now, thanks to Heist, not only use machine guns, but they can also use sniper rifles, as well as RPGs, which makes the Savage even more lethal when there's 4 people on board. However, it is slower than the Buzzard, and it's a lot easier to destroy than it looks. When you see the Savage flying by, it's all intimidating, has that old Cold War Soviet Russia look to it. It looks like a big giant tank in the sky. But the truth is, the Valkyrie can take a lot more damage than the Savage. And finally, the number 1 heist vehicle on my list is once again a tie between both Insurgents, the Heavy and the Pickup. I love both versions of the Insurgent. The price tag, $675,000 for the Heavy, and of course $1.35 million for the Pickup versions. They unlock once you complete the Humane Labs heist. So once you complete the finale, you can purchase both Insurgents. And if you have the money, I recommend getting both. The Pickup's great for driving around with you and several friends. It has the big 50 cal in it, so a friend can jump in, or you can jump in, drive around, causing mayhem and destruction. It's a lot safer to do so than the Karen Technical because it's armored, and it also has bulletproof tires. But on a personal note, The Heavy Insurgent Personal Carrier is my favorite of all these vehicles because, as I've mentioned several times, it's basically the Batmobile. I didn't really think much of it at first until I actually bought it and put it in my garage and was able to customize it, which was a big shock to me because I expected it to be just another Pegasus vehicle. But no, it's a personal vehicle you can put in your garage. You can give it whatever color you want to. I decided to keep it with the military green. It looks awesome. And you can put engine upgrades, brake upgrades, transmission upgrades. It is the best vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online today. And that's saying something because I love my Zentorno. I love my Massacro. But the Heavy Insurgent can take a beating. Plus, it's surprisingly fast for such a big armored vehicle. It's also an off-road vehicle, so that means you can bounce around the hills as much as going around the streets of Los Santos, knocking cop cars and NPCs out of your way. And I think it's probably the best way to travel now in Grand Theft Auto Online free mode. Yes, the Insurgent can be destroyed, but it takes a lot to take out the Heavy Insurgent, and of course as well as the Heavy Insurgent pickup. Alright, so there you have it, my list of the heist vehicles ranked. Let me know below in the comment section what is your favorite new heist vehicle as well as what is your least fave.